Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Nick, and today is Tuesday, the day after Memorial Day. I hope that your Memorial Day was absolutely wonderful yesterday. I am, hi. Let me know where you guys are coming in from. Hey, from Maryland. I'm in Jersey. Anyone else, let me know where you guys are coming in from. And as you're doing that, I want you to slide either left or right or up and down to invite some of your friends because we're going to talk. What's up, Callie? Houston, Texas. Hey, Ebony. We're going to talk today about something that I think... Hey, Chrissy. Jersey. We're going to talk about something today that... it really has never hit me like it did a couple of days ago, and I want to share it with you because I think that it's going to definitely hit home with you. It's going to really resonate within you, and I'm just going to jump right in. As you saw on my, the title is You versus You. You versus you. I think that many times in life we spend so much time looking at, what other people have done and what other people are doing and how other people should change towards us and what they shouldn't say to us and how they shouldn't treat us and how they shouldn't carry themselves and things of that nature. And what we don't spend a lot of time doing is checking ourselves. I mean, like really, as some people call it, chin checking ourselves, like really putting ourselves in a position in that timeout chair and saying, you really got to get yourself together. So the other day I had a situation that happened, and I really didn't like how the response came back to me. But I always try to take a situation and make a negative into a positive to see what can I learn from this. And in that situation, God showed me. Like, we look in the mirror, like I'm looking at myself right now here on Periscope. I see me, but I'm talking about past me, past the hair, past the makeup, past the clothes, to my heart, toward my soul, to my motives. Sometimes we have to check ourselves and check our motives and see why are we doing things the way we are doing it, and what do we expect to profit or to earn from it. Many times we do things and we don't even think about, like, why am I doing this? What's going to happen if it doesn't go this way? Or what happens if it goes too far to the left or too far to the right? Or if something negative happens, how is it going to affect me? No, what we do is we look at other people and say, well, if they didn't do this, then I wouldn't be in this predicament. And if they didn't talk to me this way, then I wouldn't be in my feelings. But sometimes we are in our feelings because we did it to ourselves. Sometimes we are frustrated and disgruntled and, bitter and mad and angry, not because of what anybody else did, because we did something and then the outcome of it was not to our liking, and we get upset about it and sometimes even beat ourselves up about it. But I want to say sometimes those kind of things happen because God is allowing us to turn the mirror on ourselves to see ourselves. And not that turn the mirror on ourselves to see how good we look. Sometimes we have to put ourselves in a position to really look into our soul, past that good stuff. Because it's easy to look at the good stuff and say, oh, well, I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I'm a good person, I do all things well, people love me, I'm a people person, people know who to come to, they come to me when they have issues and problems and concerns, I'm the go-to person. But what about that other part of you that you ignore? The other part of you that sometimes does things just to get attention. The other part of you that does things sometimes just to get a rise out of people. The other part of you sometimes that does things to be vindictive. That part of you sometimes that just tries to show, I'm all right, I'm not hurting, I'm not in pain, I'm good. Those areas of our lives we have to look at. We often say to some people, don't let me do a you on you. But sometimes we need to do a you on us, a me on me, a you on you, to really see, like, why am I functioning this way? And at this age, what makes me still feel like I have to do these things that I am doing, and what's making me carry myself in the manner and using the mannerisms that I'm doing? And I think that once we really look at that, we'll change our lives. May not be able to change every part of our lives, but there are some parts of our lives that will increase for the greater and become even better once we really take a real look at ourselves, an authentic look. Fine, be fake with everybody else if you need to. But when it comes to looking at you, looking at your heart, looking at your soul, looking at your mind, your motives, and the why, and the who, and the what, and the where of you, when you look at yourself in that manner and really see, I need to really get myself together and change some things. And I often say, it's not about bullying yourself. It's not. It's not about, oh, I'm going to bully myself and beat myself up, or I did something wrong, or I'm horrible, or I got to fix my attitude, I'm just mean and disgruntled. I'm not saying beat yourself up, because you have enough people in this world who will do that to you for free without you even asking. What I am saying is that look at yourself and see, okay, what changes do I need to make? Not to make my life just better, but the people who are around me. Just because the people around you may be negative in nature does not mean you have to be. And just because everyone, this is one big thing as far as social media, just because everyone on social media may be functioning this way and maybe posting like this and maybe saying this and maybe saying that, it doesn't mean you have to. Who says you can't be the light? Who says you can't stand out? Who said you can't be the one they come to your page, because they know when they come to your page won't have all the other things that people have to filter through, because when they come to your page, they can get something positive. They can get a positive word. They can get something refreshing. They can get a breath of fresh air. So I want all of us, myself included, and I'm doing it daily. I really am asking God to show me, because I want to be the best me that I can be. And I used to be the type of person that was stuck in my ways. Like, I am angry because I'm bitter, and I am bitter because I've been hurt. And I used to think that it was okay, but it's not okay to live like that. It's not okay to be that way, because many of us are so unhappy because we are bitter and we didn't take the chance to move past being bitter to be better. They hurt us and we stayed in the hurt. They betrayed us, so we could continue to walk around feeling like they're still betraying us, and they're not losing any sleep over us. They're not losing any meals over us. They're not having any bags under their eyes. They're not having any ulcers in their tummy. They're not going through any of those things, whereas we are still carrying the weight and the heaviness of what other people have done, and they have used, abused, walked over, and they have gone on with their lives, and guess what? Totally forgot about what they did to us, and we're still walking around. We're carrying the weight of what they did. It's time for us to let that stuff go. Your peace and your happiness is being infected, and it's not because of what they have done. It's because you keep replaying it over and over in your head. You know, the more you think about something and you replay it in your head, the bigger it becomes. Just think about, and I often use this analogy, when you start off by saying, I'm really hungry. You keep saying that to go from I'm hungry to I'm starving to I could eat a cow. Oh my goodness, I feel like I'm going to pass out, because you keep playing it over and over and over in your mind. And if you keep continuously playing over and over and over in your mind what people have said, what people have done, how people have hurt you, you're never going to grow. You're never going to be the person that God has called you to be, because you are stuck and you are behind the gate of pain. You are behind the gate of hurt. You are behind the gate of bitterness. You are behind the gate of betrayal. And what's happening is you're looking through the gates and you're watching everyone else live. And you can't get on the other side of pain because you won't let it go. You can't get on the other side of betrayal because you won't let it go. You can't get on the other side of existing and start living because you won't let it go. And trust me, I get it. Pain is pain is pain is pain. I get it. You're looking at a suicide survivor because of pain. I get it. But at some point, we have to say and look at situations and say, I am destroying my life over what somebody else has done to me. We got to look at ourselves, take an introspective look, like break ourselves open and just look inside and not look for the Superman, the big S on our chest, or the Superwoman, because some of us are not being healed, delivered, and set free because we think we have this invisible S on our chest. And what we really have is a big P for pain. And what we really have is a big B for being bitter. So I want us to look at our lives as you against you. Your greatest competition is you. Your greatest competitor is you. Your greatest person to go through things in life and see who can be better and who can be, who can rise above higher and faster is you. It's not your sister. It's not your brother. It's not the same person who has, the same dreams as you. It's not somebody who stole your idea. That's not your competitor. Your competitor is you. It's not about who did it first. It's about who did it best. It's not about who did it first. It's about who did it best. So stop studying what other people have done and looking back and saying, I wish I could have done it like that, and that was my idea, and I wanted to do it this way, but because they stole my idea, who said you couldn't do it and put your twist on it? Who said you couldn't take what you wanted to do and so what, somebody else did it? Why can't you add your name to it? Why can't you put your brand on it? So what? So what? Stop making excuses and stop looking at other people. Get your eyes off of other people and get your eyes on you. It's you versus you. It's your heart versus your heart. It's your peace versus your peace. It's your happiness versus your happiness. It's your joy versus your joy. It's your bitter versus your being better. It's you versus you. And if we can ever get ourselves off of other people and stop looking and focusing at, what everybody else is doing, then we can see that we need to grow. And not only that, our growth won't be so hard because now I got more time to focus on me. I'm not on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and Snapchat, focusing on everybody else's life. So hours upon hours every day when I could be pouring into my own life. The time that we spend watching other people's lives is time that we could spend pouring into our own lives. Just think if we took the time that we spend on social media watching everybody else live and get it. I get it. It's fun. It's exciting and sometimes even motivating to watch other people's lives. But you got to put some type of boundary on that. You can't spend so much time watching everybody else's life that when it's time for you to do something for your own life, you're tired. You're tired. You don't even have any more energy left because you spent so much time watching everybody else. It's you versus you. It's you versus you. It's you versus you. Whatever your name is. It's Daniel versus Daniel. It's Kim versus Kim. It's Mike versus Mike. It's Keisha versus Keisha. It's Kenny versus Kenny. It's Richard versus Kenny versus Richard. It's Dr. Nick versus Dr. Nick. It's you versus you. And if we could take that same amount of time and energy that we focus on everybody else's life. And sometimes it's not even about being nosy. It's just about what we know how to do. It's learned behavior. And some of us have to unlearn our learned behavior. I'll say it again. Some of us have to unlearn. Hey, Kenny, God bless you. Yes. It's you versus you. Some of us have to unlearn our learned behavior. I had to tell myself, Nicole, what if what you were taught was not the way? Or, God bless you, blessings to you too. What if what you were taught was something that was able to work for you during that time of your life? But now you are in a whole nother level. And many of us, you're not on that same level you once were. So you can't function. You up here now. This is where you are. But you're still functioning with what you learned down here. And you're wondering why you're not growing. Like you feel like I've reached a plateau because there's more growth for you up here. And there's some things you need to learn up here, which means you may have to study. Which means that not just studying people. I'm not saying go to school and get in the classroom, but get online and spend some of that time that you spend on social media. Go on Google.com and find some information that will help you where you are. Who said you have to go back to school? I tell people this all the time. I have my doctorate degree in leadership and education administration. I was taking 4 classes at a time. Those books were about $500 and I didn't have it. But what I did do was I was smart enough to go online and research these different people that I needed to research. I would Google it. I would go to different, educational journals, and I would find the information that I needed to help me pass that class. Some of us need to get online and help us get some information. Life is a lifelong learning process. As long as you're still breathing, you should still be learning. Every day you should be learning something. So what you don't have money to get back in school right now, everything you need, you can find a wealth of information online. Don't give yourself any excuses for why you're not growing. That's right. You're never too old to learn. Don't give yourself any excuses of why you can't get to that next level because you don't have money for the books. There's a way around everything. You know how to be unique. You know how to be savvy. You know how to be different. Break yourself out of the box of saying it has to be done this way. Who said that? Who told you that lie? It does not have to be done this way every single time. If it's done this way every single time, you don't leave room for growth. And so what, you have error. You learn from trial and error, but it's you versus you. You need to get yourself a little handbook, a notebook, and start writing down me versus me, and then decide, what am I going to work on? Because sometimes we get so busy and focused on working on our outer appearance. And there's a person inside of us, that little girl you promised that you would be great, that little boy who you told you could do anything, they're inside waving like, what about me? What about the big plans we had? What about what we said we would do? Remember when you were a child and people asked you what you wanted to do, the list was long. They had to shut you up. But life has happened, and now people are asking you what you want to do. And you're like, well, I'm just going to ride this thing on out. For what? Ride it on out for what? You're going to just ride out where you are for what? When there is so much more growth. You're so smart. You're so much smarter than where you are right now. You're so much more intelligent than where you are right now. But you're going to have to break the mode of mediocrity and complacency and feeling like this is just good enough. No, not this is just good enough. Not this is the way I've always done it. No. So what you've always done it that way. It's a new you now. We're getting ready to go into the 6th month of the year of 2016. We're at the halfway point. What have you done so far? What progress have you made so far? And guess what? You still got time on the clock. I often say it. You have not been benched. You have not been benched. Did you watch the game last night? Steve Kerr. He sat there and he was with that ball all the way to the end of the game. And then at the end of the game, he was watching the clock and he knew, now I can let go of the ball. Now I can rejoice. Now it's time for them to drop the confetti or whatever else they were dropping from the roof. Because then the game was over. Your game is not over until you take your last breath. As long as your heart is beating, as long as the blood is still running warm in your veins, you've got work to do. It's you against you. And guess what? You don't have to share your you against you with anybody, because there's some people who can't handle it. There's some people who can't handle where you're going. They can't handle your growth. They can't handle your state of mind. There's some people I could not tell them my dreams because honestly, there was no one around me who I could look at and put my hand on who was doing what I wanted to do. And so for me to say I wanted to do it, I seemed like I was really out of my mind. Like, who's going to do that? Why would you do something like that? So there's some things you have to keep to yourself because some people can't handle it. And not only that, God didn't show them the vision. He showed it to you. He showed it to you. He showed you how great you would be. He pulled back the sheet and allowed you to see where you're going. So there's some people who just don't need to see that part of you. They can see it when you get there. And then you can say to them, this is what God already told me. He already ordained it. But there's some people who will cut your dream off. Dream snatchers, dream stealers, because you going after your dream is a reflection of what they should be doing. And they don't want to hear. No. Don't talk about your dream, because you talking about your dream means that I got to do something with my life. Don't talk about how great you want to be, because you being great means I have to get up off the couch and try. So sometimes you're going to have to keep that dream to yourself. Keep it to yourself until it materializes. And then those same people who kind of made you feel crazy about your dream, they're going to look back at you and say, I knew you had it in you. I knew you did. And you just smile and say, okay, and keep on moving on. Success breeds success. But don't you ever get content. Don't you ever feel like this is good enough. You are not just a good enough person. You are not just an average person. You are royalty, and you've got to know it even when you don't feel it and even when you're not showing it. It all starts right here. This is the battlefield. The battlefield of your mind is right here. And whatever you're going to do or not going to do, it all starts and ends right here. What do you think about yourself? Forget about what they said about you. Forget about your criminal history. Forget about your credit score. Forget about the mistakes you have made. What do you think about yourself? Because when you can get that under control, and when you can start thinking great things about yourself, then you will see your greatness start to soar. But it's not until you start saying, in spite of what I did not do right, I've got another chance. In spite of my failures, I've learned some things. It's all about changing your mind and changing your perspective. It's all about looking at it. If you're going to look back in the past, look back as it to be something that motivates you, not something that makes you get down on yourself and beats you down to nothing. No. Look back to be motivated, to say, if God brought me through that, surely he's going to bring me through this. If I survived back there, I'm going to survive back right here. And guess what? Your right here sometimes is not even as bad as what you went through back there. Sometimes what you're going through right now is not even as big as what you survived. So look at what you've already survived and say, listen now. Sometimes I have to tell myself, come on, Nick, come on now. You're bigger than this. You're better than this. You survived suicide. Me. If I survived suicide, I certainly can survive a disgruntled coworker. If I survive suicide, I certainly can survive somebody talking about me, or someone not accepting me, or someone betraying me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Look at your history of victories. You have a history of victories. Whatever your name is, you need to say, fill in a blank, have a history of victory. Nicole has a history of victories. Keisha has a history of victories. John has a history of victories. Mike has a history of victories. Whatever your name is, you have a history of victories. And don't you ever let anyone make you think you don't. So going back to what we started off by saying, it's you versus you. It's you versus you. You versus you now and always. And if you get your eyes off of other people, off of other places and other things, you'll be able to see, I can do this. I mean, we always quote the scripture, I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. But do we understand the power in that? I can means I have the ability to do. Hey, John, I have the ability to do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And if God is my strength, and if he is my helper, that means I can do this. That means I can do this. And that's what you have to tell yourself. You're not going to always have a band of people around you being your cheerleaders. You're not going to have people in the stand rooting for you. You're going to have to get in the stand, root for yourself, and get back on the court and play the game. You're going to have to be the cheerleader, and you're going to have to be the team player. For you, your team. That's what you're going to have to do. And everyone might not get it. And it's not meant for everyone to get it. Hey, smooth fingers, it's not meant for everyone to get it. As long as you understand, you know what God shows you. You know what God told you. And to everyone else, it may seem absolutely ridiculous. It may seem like it makes absolutely no sense. You're reading my chapter right now. Okay. That's great. Because this is what God gave me. I'm actually in the conference room in the library. My students are in the library, but I just felt so pumped up. I wanted to share this. To everyone else, you may just absolutely look crazy. And I often share this story. The first time I shared one of my speaking videos on YouTube, one of my friends had said to me, you should really put your videos on YouTube. And I'm like, no, I don't want to put my videos on YouTube because I don't want people to think like, what is she trying to do? Like, why is she doing that? I honestly didn't know anyone around me who was speaking and putting their videos on YouTube. I had no one in my circle who was doing what I was doing. It took me 2 years after I was, suggested to put a video on YouTube. It took me 2 years to put that YouTube out. And then once I put it up there, I wanted to take it down so bad because I didn't want people to think I was trying too hard. I was so concerned about what people would think. And then finally I got over that. And it's because I shared my videos. It's because I shared my story and my testimony that God has opened the doors that he has for me nationally and internationally. So what am I saying? You got to get over thinking about what people are going to think about it. My daddy told me a long time ago, if you do everything right, they're going to talk. If you do everything wrong, they're going to talk. So you might as well just do you. Do what's best for you. Do what God has called you to do. And sometimes it's going to be scary. Going to that next level and stepping out of the box of being average and mediocre does not feel good. It's not like, oh, oh, I'm not going to be average anymore. No, because it's scary, especially if you're the only one around you that you have no point of reference. There's no one you can pull on and say, let me talk to you for a minute. Can you show me how you did that? No, it's scary. But Steve Harvey says you got to jump. He said it so greatly. You have to jump, and the Lord will allow you to build your wings on the way down. You know what I mean? But on the way down, you might hit the curb. You might hit the side of the mountain. You may hit this. You might hit that. You might get scraped up a little bit. But guess what? Eventually, you will start flying. But you'll never know if you can fly if you don't jump. Can't worry about what other people say. It's easier said than done. Let me tell you something, Smooth Finger. It is. Even though I've been very successful in moving ahead because of the grace of God, sometimes I still get concerned about what people say. I can never say, I would never lie to you and tell you, oh, I just don't care at all. I won't say that, because I do care, not just for me, because this life is not just attached to Dr. Nicole P. Lyles-Belton. What I do affects and infects my family. It affects and infects my church. It affects and infects my brain and my thought pattern. So what I do, everything you do and everything you don't do matters. I will say that again. Everything you do and everything you don't do matters. If you do it right, that matters. If you do it wrong, that matters. If you don't do anything at all, that matters too. And I would never just sit here and tell you, oh, I just don't care what people think. Now, I will say I definitely don't care as much as I used to. But there are some times I do care what people think, because I do care. My image is very important to me. And what I do, my image is very important to me. So my past, thank God I was able to get my name back, because I did not have a great past. I was able to rise above it all through the help of the Lord, not because of anything I could do, but because of his help. It's you versus you. And that's what I need you all to get. Even if no one else supports you or believes in your dream or believes in your calling on your life, if nobody else gets it except you, it's you versus you. When I go lay down at night, I lay down with my dream. No matter who I shared it with, I'm the one that has to get back up in the morning to decide if I'm going to work on it or not. Yeah, everything matters. I am the one that has to decide, okay, I know this is what you said. And for me, I get my best motivation in the middle of the night. I wake up sometimes and I'm up from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm praying and I'm meditating, because that's the only time I hear no sounds. I hear no people. I hear nothing. I just hear total silence. And that's when I can hear from God. And I'm so excited. But still, when I get up, it's my time to decide, are you going to do what you said you're going to do or not? So I'm asking you who are watching now or who are going to watch the replay, are you going to do it or are you not going to do it? Are you just going to keep it? Are you going to keep it in your heart? Yeah, I stay up late at night too. Are you going to just keep it in your heart? Are you going to keep it on your mind and keep it in your soul? And are you going to be someone who says, I'm scared. I don't know if it's going to work out, but I've got to try it. At some point, you have to try. If I never would have tried, I'll tell you what I did. I had a video called You Are So Beautiful. It was my very first time speaking for our women's conference for my church. My mom asked me to speak. I had no idea what to do, how to speak, how to form speaking for women at a women's conference. But it was recorded. I put it on YouTube, and I just started putting it on different people's pages. And eventually, women started gravitating to me because of what I was saying in my story. I was scared. I thought people were going to be like, why are you even putting stuff on my page? You don't even know me. But I did it. Did everyone accept it? No, but the ones who accepted it helped me to grow to be to where I am today. So you got to take a chance. You got to jump. You got to jump. You got to just do it. Like, there's sometimes I'm just like, my dreams, they scare me so bad. I just want to literally get in my bed and cover my head. And like, no, God, no, I don't know. And when I hear what he has called me to do, and when he tells me like what my next move should be, I'm like, God, that's just too big. I just can't see it. Like, I just want to run and hide and just like sleep for days, and maybe I'll forget about it. But it's like, I have to get back out there and do it. There are many times I get on the plane to go speak and I'm by myself. And right before I get up to go speak, like, I feel like I'm going to literally faint. I have literally been speaking in front of people on live television, telling myself, you better not faint. You better not faint. Just being so nervous and scared in that moment. Like, I can't believe I'm here because I jumped. So I'm telling you all, you have to jump and make that decision and make that choice and trust God, not people. Trust God that he's going to see you through and be with you through all of it. It's you versus you. Bottom line, stop watching what everybody else is doing. Take your eyes off of other people, even if you have to take a social media break, because I know it's easy to get online, and before you have gone through all the social media pages, by the time you finish 3 hours later, you have wasted 3 hours that you could have put into yourself, put into studying, put into working on your craft, or working on who you are, building your brand, or just doing some research online. You versus you. You versus you. It's not by our power of self. It's God. That's it. Everything I am is because of God. I would not be where I am, and I could never take his credit. I am scared to take the credit. I would never take the credit. Just like when it comes to, and I say the same thing when it comes to my tithe and offering. It's just a whole nother topic. I am afraid not to give my tithes, because I know where my help comes from. So I don't just decide, well, I want to do right in this area, but when it comes to my tithes and my offering, I want to keep my money to myself. Like, no. Like, when it comes to certain things, there's some things I can't afford not to do it. And so when it comes to what you need to do with your life, you can't afford not to seek God first, and you can't afford not to keep him close. You got to stay close. Like I tell people, when I was preaching in Oklahoma City, the woman with the issue of blood, she reached out for God. She reached out for Jesus. She reached out to him. It wasn't that he touched her. She had enough faith to reach out to him. And for many of us, we feel like I don't feel God anymore. And maybe it's not because he moved. It's because we moved. So we need to reach back out. We need to reach back out and touch him. We need to reach back out and pull ourselves back into right alignment and right fellowship with him, so that we can be balanced the way that we need to be. It's a horrible feeling to be imbalanced. I don't know if you've ever had vertigo before, or ever just been dizzy before, but that feeling of imbalance, you just wake up and just feel like something is just wrong. Something is just off. And I know when I'm off, and I call it my internal GPS tracking system. I know when my GPS tracking system is off, and I know when I am lost, because I have gone too far along another way. Like your GPS tracking system lets you know when you are, it lets you know when you're on trail, when you're right on task, or you're going the right way. But it also lets you know when you need to reroute. And many of us need to reroute and get ourselves back on track, and need to pull back in and touch Jesus the way that we need to say, you know what, I really got off task. And this is the time. Summertime's coming. Everyone wants to be outside. We want to be chilling. We want to be traveling. Don't let that get you caught up to where you are missing the mark and missing out on your relationship with God, and just totally getting lost in, it's hot, it's nice, I want to get a tan. Trust me, summer's my favorite season, but I know me and I know my flesh. So I have to understand me, and that's when it goes back to you versus you. You have to know what triggers you to get off track. And whatever triggers you to get off track, then that's no, can't be bothered with that. All right, now I have to get ready to get my students soon. As I told you, I'm in the conference room, and they're in the media center having library time right now. But I just really want to come in here and talk to you guys. He really dealt with me 2 days ago. Like, it's you versus you, Nicole. And as long as you keeping your eyes here, and everywhere else, you're not going to grow like you need to grow. You be blessed as well. So ask yourself, could I really be here? But right now I'm right here because I'm not focused. Let's get our focus right. Let's start focusing on what we need to focus on. Make the main thing the main thing. And anything else, if you have time, then you give your attention to it. But if it's not growing you, then don't give it your time. Don't give it your attention. Don't give it your talent. Don't give it your peace. Don't give it your happiness. Don't give it your joy. Because you have to cover you. Because no one is going to cover you like you. All right. I love y'all. Have a great day. It's Tuesday, the last day of May. God continue to bless you all. Tomorrow's June 1st, the 6th month of the year. What you going to do with the time you have left this year? Think about it. Love y'all. Bye.